Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are on page 41 of your student journal, page 41, and our objective for the day is, today I will multiply numbers by powers of 10. Okay, and we'll explain what these powers of 10 are, but that's our goal. We're going to multiply numbers by powers of 10, and our big new thing is this powers of 10. So let's look at our vocabulary today, because there's probably quite a bit brand new. Our thing says powers of 10, so let's look at this. This says 10 equals 10 times 1. 100 equals 10 times 10. 1,000 equals 10 times 10 times 10, or 100 times 10. So I want you to notice something. When we did 10, there was like the 1 0. When we did 100, there was the 2 zeros. When we did the 1,000, there's 10 times 10 times 10. I'm not going to worry about that part. The 3 zeros. Okay, that's going to kind of all play together as all these zeros. An exponent, which you might not have heard of until this point, says it's a number that indicates how many times a number base is multiplied. Okay, so the first one says 10, and then the little exponent, they're always in the top right-hand corner. That's called the exponent. The exponent's 1, so it means equals 10 times 1, or just 10. I like to think of it as just 110. I don't like the times 1 part. Look at the 10 exponent 2. 10 with an exponent 2 means there's 2 10s. It does not mean 10 times 10. Sometimes people think, 10 times 2. It means there's 10 and there's 2 of them. So 10 times 10 equals 100. 10 with an exponent 3 equals 3 10s. That's what the 3 means. 10 times 10 times 10, which equals 1,000. So we're actually going to come up here where we have a little bit more space, and we're going to kind of write that out. So this base number could be any number. So in 5th grade, we only use a 10, but I'm going to write some other examples just so you can see it. So the base number is the big number. That's called my base. And my exponent is my little number, and it's always up here. It's always small in the right-hand corner, and that's called my exponent. So what this means is it means I have my base number is going to be a 5, and this means I have 3 of them. So that means 5 times 5 times 5. So I have 3 of them. This is what this exponent means. Now in 5th grade, though, we're only going to have a base number of 10. We're always going to have a 10 as our base number, and then we'll have different exponents. So here they went to 3, and then they skipped to a 5. So watch what happens if we do the 5. This means my base number is 10, but I have 5 of them. So I have 1 10 times a second, times a third, times a fourth, and times a fifth. Now, the answer to this would be, if we look at the pattern, when there was 1 10, the answer is 10. When there's 2 10s, it's 100, which means 2 zeros. When it was 3 10s, an exponent of 3, it means 3 zeros. So a shortcut to know this is it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. So 10 exponent 5 equals 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, which when I solve that equals 100,000. Okay, so that powers of 10 and exponents work together. Okay, we're not going to worry about the rest of these right now, so I'm going to cross that off. Now they have some steps. We're going to really kind of change up their steps a bit today. So the first one says we're going to decompose the factors. We're actually not going to decompose the factors. We're just going to decompose the exponent. We're just going to rewrite the exponent. Okay, then it says to multiply. We're going to multiply not non-factors, we're going to multiply non-zeros. Everything that's not a zero, I'm going to multiply. Everything that's not a 0, I'm going to multiply. So I'm going to multiply non-zeros. I'm going to cross off number 3. I'm going to cross off number 4, 5, and 6. And I'm going to add my own number 3. So my own number 3 is going to be add zeros to product. Product is your answer. And I'm going to make sure I say all of them. Okay, so let's look at our new steps. I'm going to decompose the exponent. I'm going to multiply non-zeros. And I'm going to add zeros to my product. And I'm going to make sure I do that to all of them. Okay, now that's going to be for the problem types. They're also going to have us fill in some tables, which we might do a little bit differently, but these are going to be the steps for my problems. Okay, I'm going to grab my red pen, which means you can set down your pencil. And here is the table that I talked about that they want me to fill in. Okay, so they want us just to understand this exponents. This is the purpose of this table, so we understand how these exponents work. So this one had 110, which is why the exponent was 1. So when they work it out, it's 3 times 10, which equals 30. This one has 2 tens. So as an exponent, it's going to be 3 times, and the way I write the 2 tens is 10 exponent 2. Now, 10 exponent 2 has a value of 100. And the cheat way to do that is there's 2 zeros. So what's my product if I solve that? 3 hundreds is 300. Okay, this one, there's 1, 2, 3 tens being multiplied. So that means my exponent is 3. Now if I want to, not really decompose, but if I want to solve this, which is what we're going to be doing, 10 exponent 3 is the same as 1,000. So this 3 means 3 zeros. So what's 3 times 1,000? 3,000. Okay, over here I have 1, 2, 3, 4 tens. So that means 3 times 10 exponent 4. And what is 10 exponent 4? It's 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros, which means 10,000. So if I had 3 10,000s, I would have 30,000. So notice I didn't really follow my steps so much for that. This one I'm going to do a little, now I'm going to actually follow my steps. Okay, so I always like to rewrite because as I said, they make it too small for me to work with. Okay, so what's my first step? Decompose the exponent. Maybe decompose is not the best word. I probably should have said what's the value of it. So instead of 10 exponent 4, I know that means there's 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. So 10 exponent 4's value is 10,000. Okay, that's step 1. Step 2 says multiply non-zeros. So I have 12 times 1. So what is 12 times 1? 12. And then how many zeros do I need to add? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So my answer is 120,000. Okay, today I'm going to do a couple more with you. So I have 2 more because they give me a table that's set up a little differently. So how could I attack this table? Well, here, instead of giving me just this part, they gave me this middle one. So what is the power of that? That would have been 56. And as a power of 10, they mean exponent. So 100 is exponent with a 2. So what did that look like? That was 56 times 10 times 10, because a 10 exponent 2 means 2 tens. And then if I go to solve that, that's 56, because 56 times 1 is 56, and then 2 zeros. So it's 5,600. So this one, they're just kind of, you're plugging in different boxes. So 10 exponent 3 over here would mean 56 times 3 tens. And if I want the value of that, that would be 56 times 10 exponent 3 means 1, 2, 3 zeros. And 56 thousands is 56,000. So I just want you to be aware that they might give it to you that way and you might have to work around it. Okay, Let's do one more together, or one more with me before we do some together. Okay, so again, I always like to rewrite because they give it to me way too small. Okay, so my first step says decompose the exponent. I want to get rid of this exponent. So what is 10 exponent 4? Means 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros, which is 10,000. Okay, step 2, multiply non-zeros. So what are my non-zeros? 2, 1, 7. So 2 times 1 is 2, times 7 is 14. Okay, how many zeros am I going to add? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So my answer is 140,000. Okay, we're going to be doing some together. All right, please turn to page 42 in your student journal. And we're going to actually skip the first one because we're going to be doing some other pages. So we're going to skip the first one and we're going to do number 2. So it says 63 times 10. So the first one is to decompose or get rid of that exponent. So after I rewrite it, so how do I get rid of this exponent? Well, 10 exponent 3 means there's going to be 3 zeros. So 10 exponent 3 is 10 times 10 times 10, which is the same as 1,000. That was step 1. Step 2 is multiply the non-zeros. So 63 times 1 is 63. And step 3 is add all the zeros. So there's 1, 2, 3 zeros to add. 1, 2, 3. So my answer is 63,000. Okay, we're going to turn all the way to page 46 and do a few more together. So please turn to page 46. And here's my first one. This is completing that maybe a little more complicated table. So this first one they say is 6 times 10 exponent 3, which over here would mean there were how many tens? 3 of them. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, here they want us to say what is the value of 10 exponent 3. So 10 exponent 3 means 10 times 10 times 10, but its value is 1,000. And then its final product would be 6 times 1 is 6, and if I added the 3 zeros, my final product is 6,000. Okay, this one we have to work all the way back. So 60,000 would mean what? It was 6 times 10,000, because 6 10,000s would be 60,000. So if there's 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros, that means we add 10 exponent 4. And if we work all the way back, that means there's 4 tens. So 1 10, 2 tens, 3 tens, 4. So these ones can be a little bit trickier. Okay, the last one we're going to do together is number 2. It says 5 times 10 exponent 3 times 25. Okay, so the first step is to decompose or get rid of our exponent. So notice I didn't rewrite it yet. So 10 exponent 3 means there's 3 zeros because it's 10 times 10 times 10, which is 1,000. Okay, our next step is to multiply non-zeros. So 5, 1, and 25. So 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 25. Now, there's a couple ways you could do that. Some of you might know it in your head. If you don't know it, you could do side work. You could come over here on the side and say, what is 5 times 25? 5 times 5 is 25. Put the 5 and carry my 2. 5 times 2 is 10. I'm getting 125. But the way I would have thought about it would have been, I would have thought of quarters. So if I had 5 quarters, I know that's $1.25. So 5 times 1 times 25 is 125. And how many zeros are we going to add? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we can add our comma, and our answer is 125. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, normally I would not do any others with you, so your teacher is going to be giving you some, but I do want you to turn to page 49 because although I normally don't do the student practice, there's one here that I think might throw you off, and I just want to point this out to you. So let's follow our steps on this one on page 49. So again, we're going to do step 1. We're going to decompose, or really just we're getting rid of our exponent. 30 times 10 exponent 4 means 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, or there's 4 zeros. So 1, 2, 3, 4, which is 10,000. Okay, step 2 is multiply our non-zeros. So what are our non-zeros? Okay, we have 3, 1, 6. So 3 times 1 is 3, times 6 is 18. Okay, what I wanted you to see in this one is not only did we have these zeros, but we have this one. So you can't forget that one. So how many zeros are you going to add? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So your answer is 1,800,000. So that one might have been a little trickier. Okay, your teacher will be giving you some other problems to do, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.